Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I am already so fucking sick of summer.
Yeah, it's fucking hot in the void, isn't it?
We need to start, like, a GoFundMe to move someplace cold. And just fucking stay there.
This is our... What is this, a trade? I don't know.
It's this.
This is a review of this. The Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade. The Last Crusade, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like Azzarello and Miller and kind of just the usual suspects for the Dark Knight Returns stuff that's been going on lately, I think.
Romita Jr. and...
Oh, yeah, Romita Jr. John Romita Jr. is doing the art. What a weird team. All right, well, we're going to talk about it. Okay, welcome back after the thing with the music and the stuff. So we're going to talk about this Dark Knight Returns. Mm-hmm. This is like a prequel, I guess.
It is a prequel.
Yeah, it's not like one. It
literally is one.
It's a literal prequel to The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller.
So right off the bat, okay, we discussed this a little bit, but how comical is it that Didio and Johns and Lee were like making such a stink about like, oh, we need to get away from the Dark Knight, like we've been cursed with this chasing of the Dark Knight for too long, and you know we need to remind people that the DC universe isn't like that, and they're like, but we're still going to put out this fucking prequel that we paid Miller probably like a shit ton of money to write.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and I mean, I'm going to throw this out there right at the front. This is probably the best thing that's come out of DC over the last month or two.
It was super fucking good.
It's really good. So so double fuck them, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what's this about? You want to explain to the reader or the viewers or listeners?
Plot-wise, this is a Joker story, so, you know, there's a lot of Joker fans out there, so instant hit with them. Joker gets put in Arkham again, and then, you know, he's, you know, working on his escape and whatnot. The meat of this is really about Jason and Bruce. Bruce is, of course, starting to feel his age, and Jason is showing some signs of the Red Hood a little bit early. And I think that's, right off the bat, one of the things that's really unique about this is I don't think it could have been written before Dark Knight. You know, because now, like in the context of, you know, the last 20 years or however the hell long it's been, probably longer than that, we know that Jason eventually becomes Red Hood. Mm-hmm. And we know kind of his MO, like, you know, shoot first, ask questions later, stuff like that. They didn't at the time.
Right.
You know, he was just like the fucking Robin that nobody liked.
The brash Robin.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so with Batman, I don't really like young Batman. I wasn't super happy with the whole rolling everybody back 10 years and losing all the interesting stuff of Batman. Because as you know, my favorite thing about Batman is Batman and Robin. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that mixture of like a young person trying to learn and this old asshole trying to teach some kid to not be a crazy fuck up. Like, I love that dynamic. That's what I like to read when I'm reading Batman. And I also don't like, really, honestly, The Dark Knight Returns that much. I liked it. I don't like the super old Batman. It's okay. I don't love it.
I also like young Batman. I like the idea of this guy just going out for the first time on his own and being like, oh fuck, like I'm really doing this.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like year one Batman
that was
cool.
Really cool.
You know, or really early, but like the middling age Batman that we have currently in the DC universe kind of bores me. But this is like my ideal Batman book in terms of thematic usage of the character, because we have him old and tired, which I love that Batman. Mm-hmm. I just didn't like him to the extreme that we get with Dark Knight Returns, where he's like so old that he's almost invalid, right? Here he's still out punching people and he's still actively involved, but he's seeing the end, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm. He's panicking a little bit because he's like, shit, you know, I'm going to need somebody to take the mantle pretty soon, but you know, this kid's not ready.
Right. And then
is he?
Yeah, and then we get this great back and forth with Batman and Robin where he's trying to...
And Alfred.
Yeah, true. We also get a great Alfred story here as well. He's not in it a lot, but he's very
he's
influential and important. They do a great job of showing his role as advisor.
Yeah, his perspective really adds a lot to the story, you know, because... you know, a lot of times it's hard for people to remember what they were like at a certain age or something, you know, but Alfred was there. You know, he's the one that's like... yes, he's a little bit reckless, but so the fuck were you?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you dress up in a bat suit and go punch bad guys. What?
Right.
How do you think that started out, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but it hits all the right notes for me. It's one of my favorite Batman things I've read in quite a while, in terms of things that are reading contemporarily as it comes out.
Sure. I also like the little bits, and this is obviously a throwback to The Dark Knight, but we get these little, like, morning show vignettes and, like, tabloid vignettes and stuff like that, and the morning show one just, like, really nailed it for me, because it starts out and it's just so cheesy, and it's like, yeah, that's some shit that they would say on a morning show,
right.
But then, like, it just falls, like, right into context, and they're asking the questions that the readers are asking, and it's great, like, great commentary.
Yeah, this, how about the Joker stuff?
The Joker stuff I thought was pretty well executed, actually. A lot of the more recent Joker stories, like Endgame and shit, like, neither of us really liked that. It was like, it was fine, whatever. Death in the Family I liked. You thought it was just kind of okay. Yeah, middling. This, I like how manipulative they paint him. I think that's really the strong point of it, is that nobody around him, like the powers at Arkham, really have a grasp on just how quickly and severely he can fuck with people, Right. Yeah, we almost get that supernatural Joker here, where his ability to fuck with someone else's psyche seems supernatural. Yeah.
Like, he just immediately starts talking to people and they just kind of go batshit, and I like that it's so ambiguous. Like, he doesn't fill in the details here of exactly how he manages to do that with people, because that would be
say that he's going to do it.
Not only would that be really difficult to write and write well, so it's a smart choice from a writing perspective to just skip it. Just he's here, and now there's people that he's messed up. Like, just show the end result of him showing up. But it also, from a reading standpoint, it makes it even darker, because you don't get to see what he did. You just know he did things.
Yeah, you get to see the aftermath. Like, this guy that's fucking eating his fingers and shit.
Right. Right. You just see what he does to people. You don't see how he does it.
I also really like the anecdote about the kid that was born with a broken neck. That never gets finished.
Yeah, me too.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was really... It's hard to come across, like, a metaphor that's that fresh. I mean, I've never heard it. I've never heard anything like it, which is really bizarre. Like, it really struck me.
It fits him so well at that.
Yeah, it struck me really heavily when I read that. I agree. It sticks out in my mind just because it was so perfectly stated for the character and his motivations and how he approaches things. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, really. And even the fact that he didn't finish it, like, that's maybe the strongest part about it. Like, son of a bitch, Joker.
How about art, then? Let's talk about the art of it.
The art? At first I thought it was a little bit weird. I mean, I thought it was good. I just didn't know if it fit. But by the end of it, I was a fan.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah. Everybody's drawn a little bit differently than what you're used to. The color palette is certainly a little bit different than, what you're used to. We get kind of like this middle ground between... who's doing the coloring for the Snyder run?
It just depends. Placentia,
yeah.
Much of it.
Between that and, like, your standard Batman color palette of just black and gray and stuff like that. This is sort of a middle ground between that. But I think it fits really well.
Yeah, the coloring was cool. I like that the look and style of it is mostly non-digital. It doesn't look too overly digital, which would be super weird with this if it looked like a Snyder book.
Yeah.
And I really just like the way the characters look. These are Batman and Robin the way that I kind of normally imagine them in my head when my headcanon uses these versions of these characters. The stockier, more almost Wolverine-esque Batman, and the just the black-haired Italian-looking Robins, you know. It's exactly what, in my mind, I imagine these characters to look like. So I appreciate it because it's just it fits my headcanon. I don't have to like adjust to it. And I don't know if that's just because of maybe some things that I originally read when I first started reading Batman. You know, Batman Year One was one of the first things I ever read, so maybe that's why. Yeah,
I also really like that Croc is very like human-esque in this. Like, you know, they address the fact that he has a birth defect, whatever, but you don't have to make him into a fucking alligator. Like,
you don't have to take it so damn literally.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
You can be a croc without literally being a croc. Like, it's okay.
Right, he's just big and huge, scaly, and eats people.
Yeah,
good to go. That's all you need, you know? He doesn't literally have to have a crocodile face.
Or tail.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Agreed.
What did you think about this little Poison Ivy subplot in this?
You know, I really didn't even think too much about it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and I don't even know if it's a complaint at this point or just something I'm sort of indifferent about. It seemed a little bit almost throwaway-ish. Like, why? You know?
Well, it felt like it was there just...
to facilitate him getting his ass kicked by Croc.
Right. It was there just to do the 2 points of showing Jason going too far for no reason, just beating up on business guys that really, it wasn't their fault.
Right.
Right. And Batman getting his ass beat. Like,
sure.
So really, you could put any Batman villain in there and it would have had the same effect, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ivy was a clever choice because, you know, it's a bunch of rich old dudes. Like, you know, who better? You know, maybe Cobblepot could have done it.
Sure, but I mean, really, it's not all that different than what we got not too long ago in Batman and Robin Eternal with Mother and all of the people and them trying not to hurt them. If you remember that whole thing in the Opera House, so it felt analogous to that to me. Like, it doesn't really matter. The point is like the interactions of the characters. The plot is whatever for that part. How about? Just the differences here and how this fits into maybe Batman storytelling in general. How do you feel about it? Do you like this style of Batman more or less? Are you indifferent to it?
More or less than what?
Other than other iterations, you know, where does this stand? Because this is obviously like Elseworlds-y kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, it's a prequel to something it's already happened like forever ago, which is interesting. I mean, honestly, most of the stuff that I've read, most of the Batman stuff that I've read has been like Snyder. So I was a big fan of Black Mirror. You know, I thought that was great. It still had a little bit of the classic trappings, like, you know, he would start to go into dark territory and then just like peace out, you know, and do something else. Whereas this was not afraid to dwell on anything, you know, and give it the time it needed. Like, it just felt like everything got adequate time, and that's like so fucking refreshing for a Batman book, because that's always been my complaint. It's that, you know, like, they spend all this time building this villain, you know, and then like, oh, he bests him in like a panel and a half, and then we're on to some other fucking caper, you know, adventure thing.
Right. I think our complaints about Snyder are similar. Maybe they're just stronger for me. Yeah. Right? And that is exactly like you said. Snyder just consistently bitches out and going the whole way. Right? He will give you a little bit of a psychological trauma or a little bit of sadness or a slightly scary situation and then just solve it. Yeah. Right? It never has any repercussion long term. And even if it does, the tone that he sets, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a repercussion. Like, even when Bruce was no longer Batman in the Snyder run, it really just felt like, let's just have fun with having somebody not Bruce be Batman for a while, and then Bruce will come back. Sure. Right? But this loses those trappings. You know, this is somebody gets beat with a bat. They're probably fucked. Like, you know? When you read it, you really think, like, I don't care if this is so-and-so character A, B, or C without, you know, trying to make people think I'm going to spoil something, you know. When somebody gets hurt, you think they're actually really hurt. That's probably going to be bad. and the fact that he's talking about having a broken rib, and the next scene is probably going to be a problem.
Yeah,
And it's not just going to be like you pick up the next issue or 3 pages later, and he's flipping through, a building and rappelling down like he's in pain still, and talking about how much pain he's in. Which
going into good detail about the pain,
right,
which is I always thought was very cool.
Yeah.
I always liked it when, just like the anatomy, I guess, aspect of Batman, like when he fucking just drops down on somebody and it's like, they probably have like a broken clavicle and, maybe a fractured vertebrae or something like that, but they'll live.
Right. Lastly, the one last difference I would paint between this and the widely popular Snyder run that's been going on and on and on and on for a long time now is they both monologue a lot. Mm-hmm. Batman monologues a lot with Snyder. He monologues a lot in here. The difference being that in Snyder's stuff, he's always talking about other people and things, right? When Batman, all of everybody's favorite monologues about Batman are him talking about the city, him talking about a different bad guy, him talking about a situation, or talking about Alfred, right? But he never really spends time talking about himself, which to me, the Batman that I understand, again, going back to my own headcanon of what Batman is
mm-hmm.
he's...
Which is probably like heavily Grant Morrison influence.
Right. He's very wrapped up. He's narcissistic. He's mm-hmm. egocentrical person. Everything is about him and his problems and his guilt and all of his issues. And so one of the issues I always have reading Snyder's Batman is it doesn't seem like he's thinking about himself at all, which he's like more Superman than he is Batman. Mm-hmm. So here getting the Batman that I imagine is really great. I love it because it's him just talking about himself the whole time about why he's doing
unless
this.
He's talking about Jason.
But still, even when he's talking about Jason, he's talking about him sort of and how he relates to himself and why
as
he
a reflection on him.
How Jason reflects on him exactly. Have I done correct? Did I make a mistake and all this kind of stuff? Which until reading this after dealing with Snyder stuff so long, I never quite wrapped my head around.
Did that bother you?
That comparison, but that's a huge thing of it. A lot of people compare Batman and Superman, and I think that's also the big difference between the two. Is Superman is very external focus. When Superman talks, he tries to focus things away from himself and talk about the city and hope.
Which,
and
makes sense, for somebody that anything could happen to them, and then just give them a couple hours and they're fine. Right.
But Batman's very
a human being,
very stuck dealing with himself all the time. Right?
Yeah,
and that's
he was a rich kid that was raised by a butler. Like he's all that he fucking knows.
Right. Yeah. So
he's raised to be a selfish bastard.
This to me is a return to form for Batman.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope Tom King reads it. Because I love to get more stuff similar to this and less stuff like Snyder going forward.
Yeah. Did you read, by the way, that first solo or Totally King issue of Batman?
I have not yet.
Okay. You just got 3 copies of it.
Yeah, I bought 3 copies of it. They're bagged and boarded.
All right. So, Dark Knight Returns, Last Crusade. Both really enjoyed it. It was great.
It's really good. Yeah. Peace.
Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, podcasts.
YouTube.